So in this video, I'll show you why everything changes after your first $20,000, in which I'll explain number 1, the cortisol clearance, number 2, moving up Maslow's hierarchy pyramid of needs, number 3, the dopamine of proof, and finally, how to apply this today. Did you know there's a biological reason why 20K feels like a mental upgrade? Cortisol is your body's stress hormone, which is useful in emergencies, but living paycheck to paycheck turns it into a background soundtrack. When stress becomes chronic, your brain changes modes. Your amygdala, which is your fear center, gets louder, in which everything feels urgent and risky. Your prefrontal cortex, the decision maker, gets weaker, in which planning feels exhausting. Learning and patience becomes harder because your brain is focused on survival and strategy. So it is not that you lack discipline. You're basically operating with a nervous system that is constantly on red alert. So here's a flip. When you have around $20,000 saved, you create what I call a biological buffer. This will signal your brain that we are finally not in danger. And when your baseline stress drops, you get access to higher level thinking. You can actually focus, you can learn faster, you can tolerate short-term discomfort for long-term wins. And you start spotting opportunities which you couldn't see before. That is why people say things like, ever since I built an emergency fund, I feel calmer and I make better choices. Because you do. Saving doesn't just change our bank accounts, but it changes our brain state from alarm mode to problem-solving mode. And that is when you start making moves that look like confidence. Number 2, you move up in the Maslow's hierarchy pyramid of need. To understand why 20K matters, you have to understand what money really buys first, which is psychological safety. Maslow's hierarchy says that humans can't focus on growth when they don't feel secure. And when you have little to no savings, your brain lives at the bottom of the pyramid, which is safety plus survival. And that does something brutal to your mind. You don't just feel stressed, but you lose bandwidth. Your brain starts running on fear mode. For example, what if my car breaks down? Or what if my rent goes up? This consistent scanning creates chronic cognitive load, meaning your brain is burning energy just trying to not fall behind. So you make short-term decisions like quick dopamine, quick comfort, and quick fixes. So when you finally hit $20,000, for many people that is roughly 3 to 6 months of living expenses, something completely flips. You don't feel rich, but you feel safe. And the moment your brain feels safe, it finally unlocks what I call builder's mode. Instead of asking, how do I survive this month? You start asking, how do I build the next 5 years? That shift is where wealth starts. Not because you suddenly got smarter, but because you finally got mental space to play offensive. Number 3, the dopamine of proof. Why 20K makes momentum automatic. Finally, let's talk about the neural reward pathways, in which saving $100 feels like a chore because the dopamine hit is tiny. But when you see that $20,000, your brain receives a proof of concept. You've successfully navigated the delayed gratification loop. You trained your brain to value the future self instead of the present self. Once you've done this for $20,000, the psychological muscle is built. Now scaling from 20K to 100K isn't just a new challenge, it is just a repeat of a habit you've already mastered. Finally, how do we apply this today? If you are at 0, stop obsessing over 20K because your brain can't feel that goal yet, so it's not gonna move. Focus on small wins that changes your identity and reduces stress first. Number 1, the first $2,000 jump. Your first mission is $2,000 in a separate saving account. Not because it's a lot of money, but because it creates breathing room. It turns money from panic into control. And that is when good decisions finally start showing up. Number 2, identity labeling. Don't say I'm trying to save. Say I'm building my investor identity. Because your behavior follows your self-image. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity. Finally, number 3, visual anchoring. Make progress impossible to ignore. Put your balance somewhere you'll see every day. This could be on your phone, sticky notes, spreadsheets. Every time you see the number climb, you reinforce the loop. Effort leads to progress, progress leads to reward, and reward leads to repeat. And once your brain starts craving the progress, saving stops feeling like a punishment and becomes a habit.